Welcome in, everybody. Come on in, sit down, have a seat. Say hello to whoever's around you, make a friend. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Tanya, or Titanium Built, and welcome to the live. I thought you'd be able to see this book cover a little better, but I guess not so much. Maybe if we put it back. That's not working at it. Okay, better up here. We'll figure it out. I would just decided to set this here right before I came live because I thought if we read the book, then people will know what I'm reading because I took the book cover off because that book cover is not very good. So when you get the book, just take the cover off. I don't know. It just isn't a very good cover. It doesn't stay on there. But welcome in. How's everybody's day? We are that much closer to Friday. Thursday, we're right there. We're right there. I'll tell you what, I had a doctor's appointment today. I was like worn out afterwards. Worn out. It wears me out. Wears me out. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Happy Thursday, Mary Beth said. National Sunglasses Day. Okay, now that's one I can get hip with. I should put my sunglasses on. But they're not in here. Now I need them. And why is it every time I come live, my nostril is always itches? That means money or something. Someone's talking about you. I don't know what it means, but it means something. Hey, Cheryl. Means I need to clean my nose. Hey, Catherine. Thank you, Mary Beth, for gifting out memberships. I don't know who got them. Let's see. We got Julie. We got Reba. Reba, I think Reba just bought a membership last night. I could have sworn. I don't know. Donna Carter, Mickey Walker, and Nicole. Oh, well, welcome all aboard, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. We'll be doing a members live soon. We need to do one. Why didn't I do a members live today? I was thinking about you guys too. But I really was exhausted after my doctor's appointment. That's why I didn't even stream Bryan Kohberger's court hearing, because I was running over late. And I surely thought that it was going to be a really, really long hearing today, because I thought they were going to be doing a lot of different motions, because we read over them. And there was a lot of different things they were supposed to go over. And the whole hearing was 15 minutes. And I was so surprised. I think the judge loved that. Just because Tanya's the best. Oh, thank you. I wish we could go on a coffee date. That would be better. I agree. She brought some of my favorite people. She brought some of my favorite people together. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Well, you guys brought them. You guys brought yourself here. I just hold it down. I just congregate us all. I just keep bringing us back. I'm the background noise. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, the chat is the chat. I was like, you guys come here for me. And you do come here for me, of course, but you come here for each other. And so sometimes I don't even know what y'all are talking about in the chat. So if I look lost, it's because I am. Yes. Yeah, Mary Beth. I think that was was that 30? I think that was 35. Hey, Gwen. I'm just taking my time tonight, I have nothing better to do other than hang out with you guys. So that's what we're doing. Hey, Cheryl again. How far along is your daughter, Cheryl? How long till we have some babies running around? Twins. Hey, West Virginia Hollow Girl. Welcome in. Hey, Karen. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. I'm getting towards the bottom now. Hey, Nightbot. Welcome in, Nightbot. Please don't times Cheryl out tonight, Nightbot. She doesn't mean any harm. I don't know how you do it, but if you missed the live the other night, we did you can do a chat summary, I guess now, and it's AI generated, and it'll do it under lives. I don't know how you do it because I've been on lives all day today and I haven't seen it generate anything like that for me. Let me know if it does where you guys go, and tell me how you guys if you use a phone or computer, maybe it's different devices, that it'll highlight. I guess it takes a summary of what your chat is talking about. And the other day it said that Squeaky Wheel was pretty much unhinged in one of our members. And it was saying all kinds of crazy stuff about him. So I was wondering if maybe it did it again. So let me know if you get one. It's pretty funny. It's entertaining me. It's entertaining me. August. Oh, that's coming up. Wow. She might be early. Well, I'm sure she is going to be ready. Your poor daughter, Cheryl, the hottest months. And she's the biggest. Wait, tell her I cannot feel her pain, but I can in a way, only for the fact through another woman. There was a woman that used to live in my apartment. She was huge, huge pregnant, like twins, having twins, and she was having boys, and she was just having these babies. And she was a big girl, and she was due in August, maybe September. And she was in the pool every day. She lived in the pool until she had the babies. And then it was cute because then the next summer we got to see babies. But yeah. Oh, it's this Saturday. Oh, well, tell her we all said hello. Oh, man. I love baby showers too. I'm the best at giving gifts at baby showers. I'll have to show you my gift towers sometime. I did them for my best friend, and like they were so cute, and they were polka dotted, and they had these big bows, and I took like really a long time on them. And the gifts were really good too. Our other friend walked in, she was like, "Who did this?" And she's like, "I'm leaving." It was funny. I was like, "I did that. But you'll have that." You had your first in July? You swore never again. Yeah. Mr. Rosebud said, "Do like I did, hit that like button, but don't break your phone." Yeah. I know I want to send something to you. I'm like, what does she need? I love I love decorating, like the baby rooms. I love the baby clothes. I love everything. I love it. I do love it. Maybe it's a sign. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm gonna put this up and then I'm gonna take it back down for a minute. So basically, we're going to go through our Idaho deep dive. That's what we've been doing on the channel. We've been covering Idaho 4. We are going back through Howard Bloom's new book that just came out, and it's called "The Night When the Night Comes Falling." And we are going to continue with that series. So last night we read over chapters 1 through 3, and we watched Nancy Grace Part 1 with Howard Bloom. So it matched up perfect. So the author that wrote this book is teaming up with Nancy Grace and doing, I don't know how many parts of this like series that they are doing, but they are on part 1. And she asked him to come back the next night, but I don't think he could because she would have had the video out by last night or tonight. So we'll have to wait on that video. But we'll go ahead and we'll, talk about the court and stuff that happened today and the scheduling dates. They have scheduling dates. We have all kinds of stuff. So let's see. Last night we read part 1 of the 6-part series, but like I said, we only read chapters 1 through 3. So tonight we're going to read, I think 4, 5, and 6. And Bryan Kohberger was also back in court today for a status hearing. And they, like I said, I thought they were going to make a lot more decisions than what they made. But here we are, which is good. I mean, they needed a short hearing. So tonight we're going to review the scheduling order that just came out. Watch this video that will break down today's, court hearings, proceedings, and what happened. And then I'll read over the last couple of chapters in part 1. And part 1 is called Michael's Story. So it has to do with Bryan Kohberger mostly, and with like Bryan Kohberger's family, like dynamics. So, and I have a video like I could play with you for you guys again in the background. So let's see. We are going to pull this one up, and I'm gonna show you guys this. And thanks for being here, guys. If you guys don't mind taking a second to hit the like button, it really helps. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. We really would. And I'm going to paste that in there. Okay. Oops. I'm going to put my glasses on just really fast because, yeah. And let me see here. Yeah, everybody hit the like. Let's try to get this out in the algorithm. We don't have that many people in our chat tonight. But that's fine. That's fine with me. I'm cool with that. I'm reading to you guys anyway. But this book is getting good. I was reading it at the pool today. So now it's starting to get like prints on it. I'm like, good thing you guys don't have to like look at the small print. Just me. Scheduling order first. Okay, so this is going to be the new scheduling order that just came out after court today. So court was today at 1:00. They set a court date. I could not believe it. Somebody commented on, I don't even know who it was. I have to look. Somebody made a comment like, I'm gonna have to, it's one of our regulars too. I'm gonna have to like get my stuff ready and packed for, Idaho. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, right. They're not, there's no way they're going to schedule a date. And then I thought, well, if they did, they're not going to schedule it in the spring. Cause remember they were talking about a spring hearing. And I was like, well, there's no way they're going to hold it in the spring because they were talking about, they wanted to hold it in the summer, the trial, because they wanted to hold it over at the high school. That way more people can go in. It's easier. The students aren't there and they can use the gymnasium or something like that, auditorium for it. So they do still have to make the decision, though, if this trial is going to be moved out of Latah County. So do you guys think they will? You think that they'll move the trial out of Latah? Hey, WF, welcome in. Me, in my opinion, it don't matter, but it does here. I don't think they're going to, I think they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep this here, keep this in Latah County. I just feel like it. I mean, the crime happened there. These kind of trials bring a lot of money. Like they cost a lot, the taxpayers a lot, but it brings a lot of money to their towns. So I don't know. I hope they keep it there. Oh, Bill needs this, I mean, come on now. The dude's was supposed to retire last year. That's what I get. I mean, I would feel some type of way. I just feel some type of way. I would be like, Anne, am I not good enough to go up against? Are you scared? That would get her. That would get her good. And we haven't seen Jay Logston around. I don't know what he's doing with his 180 an hour, but apparently he's not representing Bryan Kohberger at any of his hearings. I don't know if he was there today. I didn't actually watch it. I was listening to it, so I didn't hear him though. Okay. So let's read through the scheduling order and let's see what they're saying as of today. As of June 27th, 2024, they are saying that a jury trial. Whoa, where did that accent come from? Did you hear me say that? Trial. Wow, that was Southern. A jury trial shall commence at 8:30 a.m. on June 2nd, 2025. The way I said trial, that was cute. I always wish I had more of a Southern accent. That was cute. In courtroom number 3 of the Latah County Courthouse and will run until August 29th, 2025 on an 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. schedule. And this is nothing we didn't already know. Like we didn't know the trial date, but we knew that they were going to run it from 8:30 to 3. So they're saying June 2nd, 2025. So wow, that's a long time. Actually, let me do something really quick before I forget. Okay. That's all I need to do. Who's all going to trial? Who's all going to go? Okay, so if it's held at the school, and everybody can pack in there because it's big, I'd want to see it. I'd want to see some of it. Now I don't know if I'd ever make a trip out that far. That's pretty far. Even if I were to go to like LA, from LA to Moscow, it's ridiculously far. But it would be a trial that I'd want to see. Trial will not be held on June 20 or June 19th, 2025 or July 4th, 2025 holidays. These dates are inclusive of jury selection as well as any sentencing phase that may be necessary. The defense motion to change venue is currently set to be heard on August 29th, 2024. If that motion is granted, the court anticipates that the trial dates will not change, although the location of the trial would. How can we say that? We cannot possibly say that the trial dates would not be changed because they most certainly, probably, most likely would be. Because if you have to change the venue, you have to clear the calendar. There's, people, they don't just have cleared calendars everywhere. Like you can't, So I feel like if they change the venue, I don't even think the trial will be in June. I think it's going to be pushed a little bit. but I don't know. A final pretrial conference will be held on April 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. Any motions challenging the death penalty shall be filed on or before September 5th, 2024. Any responses shall be filed on or before October 10th, 2024. Any replies are due by October 24th, 2024. A hearing on the motion shall be held on November 7th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Motions to suppress evidence and any other 12B motions shall be filed no later than November 14th, 2024. Responses shall be filed by December 19th, 2024. Any replies shall be filed by January 10th, 2025. A hearing on all the motions shall be held on February 6th, 2025 at 10 a.m. and may continue into February 7th, 2025 if needed. Motions in lemmy, including any 404B. I wanted to know what that meant. What does that mean? I'm going to look it up. 441A. Was it 404B? It says crimes, wrongs, or other acts. File and serve reasonable notice to the general nature of any such evidence that the prosecutor intends to offer at trial and do so reasonably in advance of trial or during trial if the court, for good cause shown, excuses lack of pretrial notice. Okay. And it says prohibited uses. Evidence of a crime. Here, I'll share this with you. That's probably easier. So we can read what this actually means, this statute. So the Idaho Rule 404B, it says prohibited uses. Evidence of a crime, wrong, or other act is not admissible to prove a person's character in order to show that on a particular occasion the person acted in accordance with the character. Permitted uses. Notice in a criminal case, this evidence may be admissible for other purpose, such as proving motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or lack of accident. In a criminal case, the prosecutor must A, file and serve reasonable notice of the general nature of any such evidence that the prosecutor intends to offer at trial, and B, do so reasonably in advance of trial or during trial if the court, for good cause shown, excuses lack of pretrial notice. Okie dokie. We're learning stuff today on this channel. Hey, Mystic. Hey, Sirius. Did I say hi? I think I said hi to Sirius. Man, my days are be running together sometimes. Hey, Jessica, welcome in. Does that do that to you guys? Happen to anybody but me? Well, welcome in, everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. If I'm on another screen, I'm reading. If I'm reading, I'm on another screen, basically. Okay. Let's see. So we're basically, if you guys are just coming in, we're reading over just the new scheduling hearing for Bryan Kohberger. He does have a scheduled court date for June the 2nd at 8:30 a.m. And as of right now, that's in courtroom number 3 in the Latah County Courthouse. But they are trying to get, the defense is trying to get the case moved out of Latah County, and the prosecution is trying to get the case just moved over across the street to the school. So motions of limine, including any 404B notices, shall be filed by February 13th, 2025. Any responses are due by March 13th, 2025. Any replies shall be filed by March 20th, 2025. A hearing on the motion shall be held on March 27th, 2025 at 10 a.m. and may continue into March 28th, 2025 if needed. I wonder if I could share this file with you, maybe. That way you guys could have this. So then it goes down to discovery completion. The state's discovery deadline is September 6, 2024. And the defense discovery deadline is January 9th. Disclosure of trial experts. Section A list of experts along with a copy of the expert report consistent with ICR 16B7 and a copy of the expert's curriculum vitae the state intends to call at trial shall be disclosed to the defense in the court by December 4th, 2024. B, a list of experts along with a copy of the expert report consistent with ICR 16C4 and a copy of the expert's curriculum vitae. The defense intends to call at trial shall be disclosed to the state and the court by January 9th, 2025. Any rebuttal experts for either the state or the defense must be disclosed by January 30th, 2025. And then trial materials. A, proposed jury questionnaires shall be provided to the court by February 7th, 2025. Responses must be filed by March 7th, 2025, pursuant to ICAR 32 I2C and ICR 32 section I2E. A closed sealed hearing on the jury questionnaires will be held on April 2nd, 2025 at 10 a.m. Okay. Proposed jury instructions shall be filed with the court by March 14th, 2025. Jury instructions will be discussed at the final pretrial conference. Section C, lay trial witness list shall be filed by March 14th, 2025. And D, exhibit list with attached copies of exhibits shall be filed by March 14th, 2025. So we do have a lot of, and there's more. We do have some dates on the calendar, we really do. I didn't know I was on camera. I love when I do that, because I'll turn it off to grab a drink or something, I forget, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm not even on camera. Don't you like that? Ladybug lasagna that's my favorite. My mom used to make the best lasagna. That sounds good. Homemade lasagna. I haven't had that in like 10 years. Oh, sounds good. Send me some. So each party shall prepare a list of exhibits that it expects to offer, including impeachment documents, to the court and to opposing counsel. Exhibits should be listed in the order that the party anticipates that they will be offered. Each party shall affix labels to their exhibits before trial. The state's exhibits should be marked with red labels in numerical sequence with a S before the number S-1, like state-1, I'm assuming. Defendant's exhibits should be marked with blue labels. Hold on a second. I do blue for the defense. Okay, we working with this. What was the state's? There just says that doesn't. Oh, with red. That's funny. But that's funny because I do pink. Okay, you guys know, I don't know if you remember me. I say it every time. I didn't say it tonight, but usually every time we read documents, I highlight them certain colors for if you guys were to come in and we're halfway through reading, a document, you'll know if it's from the defense, the prosecution, or if it's from the court. If it's in yellow, it's just a court document filed from the court. If it's the defense, I always put it in blue. And if it's the state, I always put it in pink. And they do the same thing. They do blue for the defense, but they're doing red for the state. Close enough for me. So at least my documents will match the state's exhibits. That makes my OCD feel good. So, that might help, like, if you guys are coming in during trial too. So the case number should be placed on each of the exhibit labels. Exhibits should be logged and served as required by this pretrial order. Exhibit labels can be obtained from a deputy court clerk. Counsel shall provide a copy of each exhibit and an exhibit list to opposing counsel and the court. Copies should be made after the labels are marked and attached to the original exhibit. To expedite the trial, each exhibit should be viewed by opposing counsel prior to trial and a determination made as to whether an objection will be lodged against the exhibit. An exhibit to which there is no objection will be admitted prior to trial. I feel like there's going to be a lot of objections. No, can't do that. No, not that. I don't know. Section E, each party shall provide the court with a trial brief, which shall be filed on or before March 14th, 2025. And then the sentencing disclosures, We're about done, guys. Don't worry. I know the documents get kind of boring. Any witness, lay, or expert reports, and a list of exhibits with copies attached to this the state intends to present in support of aggravation shall be provided to the defense and the court by January 9th, 2025. Defendant's mitigation disclosures, including a list of witness, lay, and expert reports, and a list of exhibits with copies attached, shall be provided to the state and the court by March 3rd, 2025. Any witness, lay, or expert and exhibits the state intends to present in rebuttal shall be provided to the defense and the court by March 31st, 2025. Man, Kohberger, these dates coming in on you, man. These dates are coming in on you. Filings after deadline. The court reserves the right to hear any motions filed after a deadline has passed if good cause is shown, including but not limited to motions that arise after a disclosure made by the opposing party. And he signed it. Judge John Judge filed. Okay, so who filed that? They're all on there? No. Was he there at the hearing today? Was Jay Logston there? Did he get fired? I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, thanks, Mary Beth. I appreciate it. I do. Cheryl said she likes my reading too. I saw that before. Makes me feel good. You guys make me feel good. That book is tricky though, y'all. I ain't even gonna mess with you. Like the words are not tricky for once because it's Howard Blum, and usually it's the words. He likes to throw in words that nobody uses. And I'm going to find an example of one in one of his articles, but this one is just like the writing is kind of small. I don't know. Maybe I think it's just me. So that's okay though. Maybe I can put my light on me a little more. You've been a member for 6 months, Ladybug. Look at that. You got your your badge, your titanium arm changed. It's rainbow now. You're part of the rainbow group. That means you're stuck with us. 6 months, you're stuck. You're here. You're here. Thank you so much for being a member for 6 months. That's amazing. That really is. Okay, so let's go over to what they were talking about today over here on Court TV. We knew they were going to have something to say. So I didn't get to watch this, so I'll listen to this with you guys. I thought it would be, just something to kind of break it up. That way you didn't have to hear me read too much. And then we'll get to reading the book. We'll do we'll cover the couple chapters, and I'll play a video behind it. That we have something to kind of visually look at. And then after that, I'll read over an article that kind of ties everything all together. So if you guys miss any part of the live, you'll have like a little summary at the end. And I don't know if you guys notice, and I don't know if I'm one of the only creators that does this, but I always tell you I always tell you about the live before like the live. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we're going to do this tonight, like go over these documents, and we're going to like watch this video and this, and this. I don't know if you noticed that, but I do that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe I should make you guys like be on your toes more. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm not sure how loud it is. I don't want it to hurt your ears.
Forth, and now here we go. During this hearing going on right now, a trial date has been set.
All right, let's go into court for that moment there in the Latah County Courthouse.
Thank you, Judge.
Mary Beth.
You're the first.
Thank
I know
you.
the court has listed this as taking place in Latah County. We haven't been heard on our change of venue yet. That's to come in August. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm agreeing to Latah County is all. The June of 2025, that's the time frame that we have been working towards. I am hopeful that we can come in there. We're working towards that date. I think it's reasonable to set that date. As the court's aware, mitigation is something that takes a significant amount of time. We've had that underway since the day we took this case. We continue to work that very hard. I spoke with our mitigation expert last night about this date. And there's a lot of work yet to be done, but we're still working towards that. So I think it's reasonable to set that. I just want the court to know that that's not finished at this point. That's very much ongoing, and new things are coming out that we need to follow up. But with that said, I think it's reasonable to go ahead and pick the June of 2025 as a trial date at this time.
And by the way, I think you understand that, all counsel understand that, but this is a 3 month trial. So I was calculating 2 weeks to set the jury, then 8 weeks of trial, and then 2 weeks for mitigation and sentencing. And I mean, that's a guess, but I think it's enough time for all of those things to take care of. And obviously, the last 2 weeks would only be if Mr. Kohberger was convicted. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do want to bring up a couple of issues I have with some of the deadlines. I looked this over. Our team has talked about it. I've gone over this with Mr. Kohberger. I do have a couple of concerns about the deadlines, and I'll just bring those up to the court for the court's consideration. As far as motions challenging the death penalty, and that's in right under.
All right, there you have it, June 2025 as the trial date for this trial that's so anticipated by so many people. November 2022 was when these 4 lives were taken. The suspect there inside of the courtroom. 3 months long this trial is expected to be. 2 weeks of jury selection, 8 weeks for the trial. And if there's a conviction, 2 weeks for that penalty phase. Let's bring back in Ted Spalding, who is standing by. Ted, your thoughts on that change of venue that's still pending? The trial date doesn't really impact that. The defense attorney wanted to make sure, hey, we're not agreeing to staying here in Latah County, where the college is that these 4 students attended.
Yeah, I like that. That was the hint, hint, judge, let's get a ruling way of presenting that to the court to remind them, because clearly she wasn't waiving that by agreeing to the trial date. I am very interested for the ruling on that change of venue. Change of venue is brought up by motion a lot in high profile cases. It's rarely granted from what I've seen. And there's been plenty that I look back at and say, this is probably one that should be granted, and then it's not. So it would be rare that it's granted in this case, but you know, what we were talking about is we have a small town, very high profile case. Would that be enough in and of itself? Then of course we've got this unique survey that is being allowed to try to generate the evidence to show to the judge that, look, everybody is biased. We cannot get a fair trial for the defendant here in this county. Thought that was a very interesting strategy for the defense, as it's been reported on, because you're always worried, are you biasing the jury against your own client if you don't win the motion and the people that got this survey are now on your jury. So all of this is very, very interesting. They're putting all the defense, their eggs in that basket. They want this venue changed. They really do believe that their client is not going to get a fair shake if they must move forward now what looks like June of 2025 with the trial here in this venue.
And all parties in a death case have in the back of their mind the automatic appeals that go along with the death penalty in this country. And if you're sentenced to death, you are afforded, at the cost of the government, appeals, and it can go all the way, it will go all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. So
I just got to interrupt really quick. His powder blue jacket, I need it because it matches Nancy's. It's stunning. I love it. I need that blazer.
Change of venue is
Looking all sharp.
a big one in that, let's face it, it may, at the end of the day, if he is convicted to 4 counts of death, recommended for death, and they don't change the venue, that's number one. And the defense is doing a very good job of making it very clear. They're pushing and talking and making the record very clear. We want to change a venue. This is a college town, a small college town, and 4 college students were killed. This hit home in this community.
It hit
like
everywhere.
No other conceivable case you could come up with in terms of how it affected a community, because the university is so intricate within the community. I don't know, Ted, your thoughts on the judge, factoring that in, even the state, if you're going to go for the death penalty, you have to take that into account, correct?
Yes, and quite frankly, both sides, right? Either side can appeal. So just as much if the ruling is not changing venue, what if the ruling is change venue? and then there's an acquittal. You know, the other side, prosecution, could appeal, say that was not a good decision by the judge. So there's concerns on all sides. But yes, judges always, rightfully so, are concerned about their rulings and can they be appealed. Defense is always trying to create as many avenues to an appeal as possible. This is ultimately one of them that is used, is changing venue in a high profile case like this. So smart on the part of the defense. The question again for trial strategy is, do they go too far in wanting to build all of these building blocks to a good appeal if venue is not transferred? That is what we'll see when the trial actually occurs.
Yeah,
I mean, if he's acquitted, there's no appeal from
right, no
the
appeals
state,
with the
but
state. They
the
can't
state,
go
yeah.
back and do anything. But we do, I mean, just thinking about an appeal in this case, because overwhelmingly people believe the evidence is there. And my question, I know, Ted, you've talked about this Boise, Idaho versus where they want to move it, a bigger city, the capital of Idaho versus Latah County. I feel like the court is going to have to address how he would be prejudiced in Boise when everyone knows about this case. To your point, people there are more intimately impacted by it. They were the ones who didn't know who did this horrible crime. It's been all this time, these college kids are dead, and they perhaps feel a different way about it. But in Boise, Idaho, I don't know that it's any different for him in terms of people who know about the case. I think there's more that the defense would have to show, that there's a safety issue or something about staying in Latah County, especially in the summer when there's going to be perhaps some more room in this college town because kids will be on summer break.
yeah, I get what you're saying is that Boise's not, Manhattan or New York City. There's a collective consciousness there that is very aware of this, and that's what the state's arguing. It's this what everybody argues in every one of these cases. The Daybell case
I
was
hit a
moved
button.
to Boise for the same reason. Chad Daybell is sentenced to death, and guess what? Change of venue is not going to be part of his appeal because they changed the venue. It's a pain in the butt. It costs a lot of money.
And they
for
already
local
changed it with
taxpayers.
Lori. They changed it with Lori. That's what I was like. Well, I don't know if they'll be able to use it now because, I mean, these are going to be a lot, I guess, more separate. Not really, just by a few years. But they switched, her county. So I thought that they wouldn't do that again for Bryan. Just, it looks like the smaller counties can't do nothing for themselves if you keep sending all of their high profile cases out of them,
But it takes that away. And at the end of the day, if you want a death sentence against somebody and you want it to stand up, change of venue is a big one, especially in a huge case like this. And this is 10 times bigger than Daybell, right?
Kid.
I mean,
For sure.
Kohberger
When we
is-
talk about the country and their attention on this, I'm not sure about the impact to that local area because everyone was looking for the kids in the Daybell case. So many people knew about it there as well. But we're, of course, going to continue to follow every development out of that Latah County, Idaho case. We will, of course, keep an eye on the change of venue when the judge makes the decision on that. But meanwhile,
I was going to say something and it just stinking slipped my mind right what I was going to say. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't that important, but it was just something related to the case. I don't know. I'm going to do a poll. That's what I was going to do. Oh, that's what I was going to do, a poll. Okay, I'm going to do a poll with you guys. Should have had that ready. Sorry. I was going to do a poll with you to see if you guys think that there will be a change of venue. Maybe you guys will. I don't know. Do you think they will? And like, really, where is Jay Logston? Has anyone heard from him? Is he still in the case? And I'll put a not sure option on there too, I guess. But be sure, people, be sure. So that was the hearing. They do have a trial date. So I popped over And they haven't updated recently, but the Gonzalez family did put out something. I figured they would because this is a big day for that. A date, and I thought those poor people weren't going to hear no date set today. Now I'm glad they set a date, because if they set a date, there's a date. They can change the date, but at least you have a starting point. You know what I mean? Where if it's like so much into the future where they're continuing, someone can stand up and actually do something, be like, no, at least it's like a date. Makes me feel a little better. Anyway, everybody pack your bags. Oh, June, it should be beautiful there. We'll camp out. We heard other people were going to take their tent and barbecue grill too. So get your stuff ready. Get your dickies ready. So it says here, it just says, please say a prayer for our family. We are traveling to Moscow for court at 10 a.m. Rally the troops. 199 comments. Wow. And I showed you that picture last night. That was the new picture they had. She's so pretty. They're a very beautiful couple. Really, really are. I guess I could look at a couple of these. I think they're just going to say, sending love, sending prayers. That's nice. Wow. That's a lot of people. They have a lot of people that care. It's really nice. It's nice. What? Keep grinding up. I'm sitting on the most beautiful of the Hawaiian island. Is it Kauai? I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that right. And now I'm gonna be mad, and I'm gonna have to go there just so I can learn how to pronounce it. Right on the surf, and it still breaks my heart that this stuff goes on. I know it doesn't matter where you are, huh? It doesn't, but it helps a little. I bet them ocean waves. I'm picturing it right now. I'm totally lost I'm lost in the sauce now. You got me lost. I used to be an ocean gal. I used to love the ocean. I used to live for the ocean. I used to want to live on the ocean, like by the ocean. And then that Titan submersible, happened. It was like 1 year ago, right around this time, I think. Actually, wasn't it? Or May? Maybe it was May. But yeah, I don't want to go near the ocean now. So, but I would go near the ocean just to put my feet in the water. I bet it's beautiful. I feel it'd be pointless because the whole world knows about this case. Brenda G, yeah, they do. They do. And they're going to remember, and it's going to bring in a whole new wave. You all mark my words. I need to write this date down. June 27th, the day that Tanya spoke the truth. This case is going to get crazy again. Once we start like getting towards like that trial date, there's going to be, I bet you, a whole new wave of people that come out and revamp this whole case like from the beginning. We'll be looking at food truck videos again. No, we won't, but you know what I mean. People will be doing that. Oh, you're welcome, Pancakes. I bet you that was Miss Mary Beth. Thank you, Mary Beth. That's nice. And who did I saw Ashley was in here. Oh, Dreamcatcher. I was like, who else did I see come in? Hey, Dreamcatcher. Happy Cat's Life. Don't mind us. We're just having an easy, relaxed live tonight. Not under the pressure, I feel like. But I might go live on my second channel. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put this up. I think that's everything. So yeah, we might have to, I have like stuff to say. I have stuff to say, so I might have to go on the second channel. But the Gonzalez family, I'm sure that they are over the moon, excited, happy. They all all of these family members deserve it. And I hope, Xana's mom was able to get the news, and I hope that, Maddie's dad, her mom got the news. I mean, that's just, and the Chapins, I hope they got the news, even though they don't, they said they don't want to go, but you never know. They may change their mind. I don't think they will, but you never know. Oh no, Cat's Life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I just had a little prayer for him. I'm sorry. That's sad. My cousin passed away It's been like 4 months and I still haven't accepted it. I won't accept it. I just won't. I won't do it. I've been trying to write her sister, my other cousin, since 4 months ago, and I get a little out and I can't. She was my best friend. She was like my only friend sometimes, when you have that kind of friend, when you have like the bestest of friends. She was the best. Tomorrow, my boss has a nurse coming to give me liquid IV during lunch. Like an actual like IV of it, like IV, or because you can drink the liquid IV. I know, serious. Maddie's dad breaks my heart too. He does every time. Every time. Ethan Chapin's dad broke my heart when he said he cried into his coffee. He would sit and watch the sunrise and cry into his coffee. And I was like, so don't mind the picture. This is the Grove. If you don't know what this picture is of, I'm going to read a part of the book, and that's what this is in reference to. So that's why the picture is up here. But if you guys missed last night, you didn't miss a whole lot. We are reading Howard Blum's new book, When the Night Comes Falling. He decided that, the Idaho 4 story was over, I guess. Wrote a book. And we have the book out of the sleeve because the sleeve just doesn't work with the book. So last night we read chapters 1 through 3. It went over, Bryan Kohberger's like studies before he went over to, Washington State. It talked about the trip that he made home with his father, a lot of his father's and him's like dynamic from the point of view of Howard Blum. And, I guess using critical thinking and stuff of that nature, because it does line up to what could have possibly happened. So he's telling a story and we're listening in it. We're here for it. We're here for it. Well, thanks, Dreamcatcher. I went back and tried to look for the video, but I couldn't find it. I was listening too. I was on one. Thanks, Dreamcatcher. You're really sweet. You are important as a cat's life. And I hope that, yes, I hope that you're okay. Let me see here. What else did they go over? I think that's basically really all of it. Oh, I think they went over the party that he went to. They're going to go over that more tonight. The swimming party. He talked about the visual snow that he has. Maybe he has that. He talked about the visual snow. He talked about his little rap career that he had going on there. And I need to download that song. I'm not sure. I don't think it's copywritten, but we should play that in the beginning of the lives or something, or in the middle as like a segue. Ashley, I bet you give the best hugs. Hey, exquisite. And sorry, I'm like all over the place tonight. I'm just looking at the chat. I'm just listening and looking at you guys. Okay. I'm going to play this video like in the background. That way it's just, we have something to kind of look over. I think it's playing. Okay, hell if I know. Let's escape. Oh my God. Like hell if I know. I think it is. Okay, we'll see if it does. We'll see if it changes the picture here in a minute and we'll find out, huh? Put me here. And thanks again for being here. Y'all are the best. If you guys do not mind, smack your DNA on that like button. Just real quick. One time only. Don't do it twice. Because I need just to do once. And that way we can get to the algorithm. Because who doesn't like to hear me read? Actually, I was going to sit back in my chair and read it. I should do that. Thanks, Dreamcatcher. Yeah, let me know. Let me know, girl. Hey, Ert. Welcome in. You had a funny live tonight. I wanted to go on your panel so bad. I went to Target. I went to Target and I walked out of Target and you had Decipher, LFT. I'm like, what happened? I was like, where'd everybody come from? I was like, man, I had to come home and read. I had to go off. I had to stop listening. I was like, I have to read. And I am comfy, actually. Serious. I have my robe wrapped around my waist because my legs were cold. So everybody get comfortable, grab a drink, grab a cocktail. We're going to read Howard Bloom's new book over Idaho because, you know, Howard Bloom knows all. He should be the investigation and investigators. When the Night Comes Falling by Howard Bloom. Chapter 4. Scene. Perched at the crest of a small hill south of Main Street, the Grove was not, as the lyrical name suggested, a leafy copse, but rather a newish assembly of dull-colored three-story buildings. The structure spread out nearly end to end over the incline and provided the developer's promotional brochure boasted first-class off-campus student housing. It was a very popular address despite the narrow prison-like rooms fitted with desks finished in a plastic veneer meant to look like wood. It wasn't the accommodations, though, that had students opting out of dorms and frat houses to move in. The real attraction was that the Grove was one big party house. It offered up all the glittering toys that could stoke a good time. Shimmering blue pool, a beach volleyball court complete with sand, a barbecue setup that could grill franks and burgers for a hungover army of revealers, and not least a wide parabolic shaped deck that crawled around the pool, leaving plenty of room for mingling, dancing, and rows of coolers stocked with beers and Trulies. Bryan parked in front of the community club building, people would recall, and by the time he arrived, maybe 4-ish, the music already blasting. He had worn his newly purchased swim trunks under his jeans, and now he quickly stripped down in his Hyundai. Following the noise, he made his way to the pool. Cartwright, the food science PhD, now calling himself DJ Grape Vinyl, manned the turntable. Bad Bunny wailed from the speakers, imploring party, party, party. Chicken and steak were being grilled to make tacos. There was wine, beer, and tequila. Every time I hear this part of this story about the pool party and how they were grilling out chicken and steak and they were drinking like tequila and beer and wine, did these kids have some money? Because when I was in college, we got a case of Natty Light and we would have been eating hot dogs, and we would have been lucky if we had buns. We would have used hamburger bread, or I mean just regular bread for our buns. Like, this is pretty. This is a lot. Oh, this is the Grove. This isn't my place, but I'll show you a picture of mine. Mine's prettier, actually, where I live. It's beautiful. I have a picture of the pool, actually, from today. There must have been 100 or more college kids on the deck. Bryan, in his new swimsuit, ghostly pale but still looking good, bulked up with a mop of brown curls, perched on a step at the shallow end of the pool. He was taking it all in, and his large blue eyes gave out an air of angelic perplexity. Grabbing a seat next to Bryan was Bastif Salamjohn, a laid-back, darkly handsome, off-and-on WSU undergraduate who was part of the crowd that ran with Martinez and Cartwright. He's the really cute guy, like the Hawaiian-looking guy with the long hair. The two started talking, and Salamjohn quickly decided there was something odd about Bryan instantly. The dude would talk chin up straight into my face, he recalled. We were just shooting the shit, and he was definitely one serious dude. Nice enough, though. After a while, Salamjohn stood up and went off to dance. You can't even see me down there hardly. I just got my drink. I wanted to I'm gonna take this banner off so it's not, and I don't know, so it just isn't in the way. Then you guys can see me a little better. Okay, so it says, after a while, Salamjohn, stood up and went off the dance. So Bryan, perhaps not wanting to be left sitting alone on the pool steps like some loser, headed over to talk to the DJ. Cartwright was an imposing figure with jet black hair, jet black man bun, and he stood with material erectness over the turntable as he orchestrated the festivities. The time had come. His instincts told him to take things higher, to let the music swell. He needed to focus, but he was by-breeding and natural. I'm going to read that over, sorry. But he was by breeding and nature polite. So when the guy approached, Cartwright was friendly. He looked a bit lost, Cartwright decided. Bryan started asking about the speakers. He had lots of questions, technical stuff. At first, Cartwright did his best to answer. In truth, he had a nerdy streak too when it came to electronics, and he was proud of his knowledge. But the conversation quickly grew grating. He had this way about him the DJ would remember. You know those people who don't understand personal space? He was one of them. Not me. I love my personal space. I live for it. He'd get real close if it was off-putting. Finally, Cartwright told his new acquaintance, "I'm DJing, man. I'll catch you later." So Bryan returned to the shallow end of the pool, but before too long, Salam John joined him too, and he watched what happened next with growing curiosity. Without a word to him, Bryan abruptly jumped up and approached a girl in a black thong bikini and with pink hair and an intricate tattoo. I don't know why I can't say that. Running up her left thigh. Intricate. I don't know why I couldn't get that word out. Running up her thigh. There was only a brief conversation before Bryan asked her for her phone number, and he got it. Next to Salam John's further fascination, Bryan, as if a man on a mission, focused on the pink-haired woman's friend. She was also in a two-piece black bathing suit. He asked her for her number too, and he got it. Now, I was reading this today at the pool, and I was thinking, you know how many times that I, in college, like in my 20s, that I gave a guy the wrong phone number? I did that quite a few times. Not like a lot, not like, a crap ton, but enough to where I would. Instead of causing a scene and saying no, like you could, especially if you can get vibes from people. People be weird, sometimes. If they're like all up in your personal space, could I have your number? If he had a problem with personal space, then he had to have been a little too, it would have been too close for me. I'd have been like, you better back up. But I'm known to be told, I'm known to tell people to back up. I don't think this is moving, so we're just going to move it. We're going to move it ourselves. Because last night it was a video, and the video is not playing for some reason tonight. So we'll just move it. That's okay. Dudes of players, Salam John marveled. Got the digits. Who'd have thought it? But before he could congratulate the conquering hero, Bryan did an about face. Just as things were picking up, he left the party. The music was loud in Bryan's ears as he drove down the hill from the complex, heading straight past the Moscow police headquarters on the way back to Pullman. Things he undoubtedly felt were taking on a brighter look. And there was a footnote to the day's events that only many months later would provoke interest and speculation. Bryan never telephoned either of the two women. Perhaps he had lost interest, or maybe he had only wanted to establish that he could get a spark from a pretty woman. After all, in middle school, the girls had mocked him, laughed at the overweight kid. When he boldly sat down next to one of the good-looking ones in the lunchroom, they'd tell him to get lost, and an embarrassed Bryan would slink over to a table filled with his loser friends, people he secretly detested. It might very well have been he simply lacked the will, or was it the confidence to take the next step? Oh, I don't know what I just did there. Oh, okay. I just counted that down for some reason. Okay. I don't know if that's doing. I don't know what that's going to do. I can't get it off though. What'd I do? I don't know what I did. Okay. That's fine though. It's fine. Okay. It might very well have been that he simply lacked the will, or was it the confidence to take the next step? Maybe he felt he'd always be an outsider, somebody disdained to be on the peripheral of the good times others would be having. All that was certain was that in the aftermath of the pool party, both women received several hang-up calls, and it wasn't until March, much later, that they put a possible name to the annoying caller. Would you not know? I guess you wouldn't. If you're two pretty girls, you probably have a ton of the same numbers in your phone. You probably wouldn't put two and two together and be like, hey, who's that creep at the pool party? But maybe they don't be giving your numbers out, ladies, to people. Just say, I don't know. Look me up on Facebook. That's not even safe anymore. Yeah, it says first it does say that he never called him, and then it says that they had hang up calls. So I guess they're not trying to insinuate it was him, but they're insinuating it. So chapter 5, and these are short too. I think we only have we don't have that much more to go. So, meanwhile, on that mid-December morning, nearly 5 months later, when father and son were making their way back home for the holidays, Bryan drove with a focused silence. The new day was startlingly bright. Puffy white clouds were high in the big Midwestern sky, and Michael, he'd later share with a friend, had grown convinced that all his fears about a snowstorm had been unnecessary. He still was reflecting, though, on the horror of a SWAT team shootout in an off-campus neighborhood not far from where his son lived. Yet when he attempted to engage Bryan to see what he made of all of it, all of his questions, he had gotten an answer worth a penny. But he had long ago grown accustomed to his son's moods. One moment the boy would be rageful, the next unapproachable, as if locked in some inner world. Soon the small car was filled with a companionable silence. Bryan spoke up at last. There was a Thai restaurant he had found on the web, he announced, outside Indianapolis. They could stop there for lunch. Sounded like a plan, Michael agreed. At first, Bryan's strict commitment to vegan diet had left him mystified, but after all the years spent grappling with his son's many difficulties, Michael's temperament had grown more open to anything that kept him centered. And he had to admit maybe it was working. Gone were the truly awful days when he had to worry about whether Bryan would be found lying in a Stroudsburg alleyway with a needle in his arm. All the bewildering talk about visual snow was history too. Heading off the interstate to hunt down a Thai restaurant rather than pulling into the next roadside McDonald's was a small inconvenience when measured against the miracle of his son's transformation. They had turned down the heat in the car because despite the chill outside, the high morning sun reflecting off the windshield glass was keeping things warm. Michael absently watched the passing trucks. It was an easy drive. The highway was flat and the traffic steady. They were making good time. And as they started crossing through Haddock County, Indiana, Bryan spoke up. Only now there was a hesitancy, and Michael knew that was a warning. The one thing about Bryan, he'd tell people, was that boy knows his own mind. No beating around the bush. He'd let you know what he was thinking. I got a problem, Bryan finally announced. All at once, Michael braced himself. His apprehension eased as Bryan revealed that he was having some trouble at school. Yet for his son, it was as if a fuse had been set off. A taunt-faced Bryan, Michael would tell people, ranted that a few spoiled brats in his classes were really to blame for the entire misunderstanding. They had complained that he was too demanding, too tough of a grader. And incredibly, the department's professors were siding with the malcontents. The university had no commitment to intellectual honesty, Bryan charged, and it was at this point Michael later confessed that he started to have a difficult time following where things were going. Intellectual honesty? What the hell did that mean? More college mumbo-jumbo, he swiftly decided. Truth be told, Michael would come to concede from the start. He had wondered why his son had thought it necessary to enroll in a school all the way on the other side of the country to study, of all things, criminology. What was that all about? Did Bryan need a PhD to become a cop? Was that where all of this would be leading? When Michael had first shared his misgivings last spring after his son received the email announcing his acceptance into the WSU doctoral program in criminal justice, Bryan had gotten huffy. He was setting off on a career that was a lot more important than scribbling traffic summonses he had barked. He'd be accomplishing the sort of things that the police could never dream of doing. He'd be studying, he said loftily, the criminal mind. He'd be a scientist exploring why criminals do what they do. The indignant response told Michael it would be wiser if he kept his peace. He didn't want to start something. Still, Michael felt that you didn't need to be a scientist to solve what made the criminal mind tick. He had crossed paths with his fair share of hoods growing up by the Brooklyn waterfront. He had uncles who had gotten pinched for gambling. He had a brother, one of a set of twins, who had been charged with grand larceny and receiving stolen goods, but had gotten off with probation and fines. Hell, his own father had stolen a car. He had seen enough to convince himself that without ever once cracking a book, he had a pretty good understanding of the criminal mind. And it all came down to this. People broke the law because it was the easiest way to get something they wanted. Yeah. And he'd say, you want an explanation for why psychos do what they do? Why kill people? To Michael's mind, that was pretty simple too. It was just the way they were. You can't change those sorts or expect to understand them. That's what he told Marianne friends would share when she had gone to all the trouble of getting a poem Melissa, his daughter, had written into the Pocono Record after the horror of another school shooting. This one, Uvalde, Texas. They have a arrest in that today. Like, I like seriously saw something about that today. Yeah. Look at this. Former Uvalde school police chief officer indicted in first ever criminal charges over failed response to 2022 mass shooting. The irony, you know? And here we are talking about it. Look at that picture of Kohberger. Oops. Whoa. Oh, what was that? I just did something. It made music. How did I do that? How did I just do that with the drum? Oh, there it went again. I'm just pushing a bunch of buttons. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. But I did. I don't know how I did that. This keyboard does things I don't know what it does. It makes music. It makes music. And hey, baby girl, welcome in. Yes. Okay. So okay. Yeah. The look in the car. He looks like a deer in the headlights almost. Like his eyes are wide normally, like you can see the picture here, but his eyes are a whole different level of wide, like in that car. Where'd it go? Like, look at this. Like he's got the wrinkles in the front of the forehead. I mean, he's pressure thinking. I don't know how to explain it, what pressure thinking is, but like your head hurts so bad because you're thinking that hard and your eyes are bulging out. Now you can see he does not have a navigation system. His daddy right here has maps on his phone. So he is the navigation. He's got his water, he's got a co-pilot, got to keep him hydrated, chargers on. They go in places. Bryan, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't just jump out of the car and run. I probably would have if that was me. I would have thought, I'm screwed. They got me. I mean, for sure. Maybe not the first stop. First stop, I would have been like, I got that. Second stop, I would be hightailing it because I would have thought they caught up with me. Like, okay, the first stop, they didn't catch my name or they didn't catch the connection. There's no connection. But then by the second cop, I'd be like, oh my God, they got a connection. They know it's me. I would be running. Oh man, that'd be funny too if I would be running across, the interstate. Let's see, where were we at? Okay. Do you want to start something? Him and his uncles. Okay. And he'd say, you want an explanation for why psychos do what they do, why people kill. To Michael's mind, that was pretty simple too. It was just the way they were. You can't change those sorts or expect to understand them. That's what he told Marianne friends would share when she had gone to all the trouble of getting a poem Melissa, his daughter, had written into the Pocono Record after the horror of another school shooting. This one in Uvalde, Texas. Small hands and feet / buried 6 foot deep. Melissa had rhymed, and his wife had added an earnest postscript. You must consider the children before the gun. But Michael just shrugged off their heartfelt sentiments. It wasn't that he didn't care. He worked all day in a school. How could he not feel aggrieved? He'd say over the deaths of innocent school kids, but he also was of a mind that was resigned to all the madness. Nothing he had made clear to his wife would be rectified one iota by poems, or for that matter, professors trying to use big words to make sense of things, or degrees in criminology. Still, if this is all there was to Bryan's problem, he was relieved because one thing he knew was that the boy was damn smart. He has his mother's brains, thank God, Michael would tell people. So as Bryan continued to lay out increasingly bewildering, detailed the vendetta the WSU Criminal Justice Department had launched against him, Michael relaxed. Rather than probe too deeply, he listened with a doting, if somewhat perplexed complexity. He was convinced that Bryan just needed to vent. This was school stuff. Every job has its fair share of politics, right? He would tell himself, friends noted, and he felt assured his smart son would be able to work things out. No. Okay. I'm hating that this isn't working. We're going to skip that picture. Look at this picture. Spooky. Okay. Actually, I'll get us back up to the... Is that the last one? Maybe it was. I thought I had a lot more than that. That's weird. I thought I did. Probably did. Okay. Why do I keep losing my damn spot? The first time Bryan walked through a murder scene was in the old stone house on the leafy corner of Taylor Drive in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. Bloodstained bodies were sprawled about the musty, low-ceiling living room. Only the corpses were mannequins. The blood was red paint, and the living room was in the DeSales University crime scene house. And he was an undergraduate taking 365 psychology sleuthing. Bryan was hooked. That was when he made up his mind to switch his focus from psychology and head on to graduate school to study criminology. As a former addict, he had lived with the awareness that he was one bust away from winding up a criminal. He had, after all, been picked up for making off with his sister's iPhone, and he had known too many from his druggy high school crowd whose lives had become wrapped up in the justice system. But he had turned things around, and now he saw a way of making his reinvention complete. It was a dangerous world, but he'd be a secret hero in the making, one of the good guys who studied crime and criminals. And by digging deep into the criminal world, by studying the theories explaining illegal and deviant behavior, he'd be working with academics who were devising ways to keep crime in check. I need more light. Oh, that's like so much better. Okay. It's not so much better, but it's a lot better. Okay. He'd be an owl, one of the deep thinkers who was determined to make the world a safer place. His mindset, he enrolled for DeSales' online master degree program in criminal justice. And that was where he discovered Dr. Catherine Ramsland. We all know who that is. We'll just go back to the beginning. So we know who the Dr. Ramsland is. Serial killers fascinate us. We want to know what makes them tick, she had written. Inside the Mind of Serial Killers, Why They Kill was the book, and she seemed to have the answers. Professor Ramsland, after all, was someone who had done it all. She had a PhD in philosophy. And if you don't know who Dr. Ramsland is, she's on like the ID channel all the time. Like I've seen her on so many different like court cases just throughout the years. So when her name got brought up, I was like, oh, dang, I know who that is. I was like, I actually know somebody. I actually know someone. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in. DM, if you're in here, I didn't have Otto's email. I tried to look last night and I couldn't find it. And I don't see Otto, so. Professor Ramsland, after all, was someone who had done it all. She had a PhD in philosophy, had written a small library of books, 68 at last count. A small library, yeah. had appeared on more than 200 crime documentaries and television shows, and most impressively to Bryan, she had actually gotten up close and very personal with a few of the most deviant minds on the planet. When she said serial killers saw the world differently, she was not spouting off like another academic who extrapolated her understanding from some dusty text, but rather as an investigator who dived straight down into the belly of the beast. When, for example, she wrote about the strange doings inside the mind of Dennis Rader, a convicted serial killer who had murdered at least 10 people and who, in a self-aggrandizing flourish, had branded himself with the initials BTK for bind, torture, or kill. Ramsland had firsthand knowledge. For 5 years, BTK had been communicating with the professor from prison by phone and in lengthy letters that he'd written in a daunting complex code. And we went over that actually on this channel. It's in the Idaho 4 playlist, like the difference and similarities in the different, like, you know, the cases like Bryan and BTK. But with brains and persistency, Ramsland had cracked the code, a psychopath's language where, for unnerving example, virals were victims and wheels of times referred to what he called spin the bottle, a mind game where women tied to a torture wheel with their legs spread. She had gone into the cookie jar, as Rader called the sadistic fantasy world, and when she had emerged, she came out with the hope of others will dig out things that I missed. Ramsland was a forensic psychologist, a practitioner who applied psychological research and clinical experience to get inside criminal minds. And this was an invaluable skill. Working at the juncture of the legal system and psychology, the forensic psychologist not only could provide a learned assessment of what was going on in a defendant's head, but they might also be able to apply psychology to solve a crime. And Bryan wanted to forge a career at this intellectual crossroad too. He hoped, as the professor had urged, to dig out things she had missed. But for his master thesis at DeSales, Bryan set out to emulate Dr. Ramsland by reaching out directly to prisoners. I am inviting you to participate, he wrote in a survey that he posted on Reddit, hoping it would grab the attention of bored convicts, in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. In particular, the study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent arrest, with an emphasis on your thoughts and your feelings throughout your experience. And the questions he posed were just the sort of probing that the promised rich grist with a forensic psychologist mill. We should get someone to come up and answer these questions. That's someone, whoever's been arrested, the last person to be arrested, say I. And these are the questions. And we went over this as well. We went over the whole case, but we went over this as well on a live. It would be titled too, like, you know, survey questions. It was one of the earlier lives. So this was some of the survey questions. Why did you choose that victim or target over others? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving home? How did you approach the victim or target? After arriving, what steps did you take prior to locating the victim or target? After committing the crime, what were you thinking and feeling? How did you leave the scene? How was your life right before the crime? We should write those questions out and answer them as if we were Bryan Kohberger. I'm put this little piece of paper in here so I can remember that. That's like, that might be kind of, maybe we'll find something out about, you know? It was, yeah, if anyone got any memberships, it was probably Miss Mary Beth. I haven't gifted in a little while. She's the best. She's been gifting. It really helps the channel. It really does. Makes me smile. Michelle Bolger, the associate professor who was Bryan's thesis advisor, was very impressed. Bryan was zeroing in on precisely the sort of questions a forensic psychologist would want to explore. He was one of my best students ever, brilliant, she judged. And so when Bryan asked her for a letter of recommendation for the doctoral program at WSU, she was happy to comply. In my 10 years of teaching, she remarked, I've only recommended 2 students to a PhD program, and he is one of them. Yet the time would come when Professor Bolger's thoughts about Bryan would grow troubled and she would have difficulty sleeping. And now, when she reviewed his probing thesis questions in her mind, there was suddenly the possibility that everything she had called brilliance held a more awful promise. Fantasy Dr. Ramsland had written also builds to an appetite to experience the real thing. Got a couple more pages and we done, guys. For, this section. So, and then we would have got like part 1 done, and let's see how many pages that's all together. Like, 40, like 45. So, good night, Ashley. Go to bed. Then we'll put it back over here. Okay. Bryan, the doctoral student, was the model of ambition. Even before starting classes in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology at WSU on August 22nd, he had already written to the Pullman, Washington Police Department applying for an internship. Doing his best to sound like an academic in the making, Bryan sent an email stating that he had an interest in assisting royal law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data and public safety operations, which, when translated, meant he had expertise in gathering evidence from surveillance camera videos, checking out the cell phones that had pinged off nearby towers at the crime and gone down, and running relevant license plate numbers through all-knowing law enforcement computer systems. The application didn't go anywhere. Perhaps the Pullman PD figured even royal cops had a thing or two on a student when it came to putting the technological pieces together in a crime-solving puzzle, or maybe they were put off by the applicant's know-it-all tone. But for whatever reason, Bryan didn't get the internship, which left him time to concentrate on school. There were 13 new students in the doctoral program, and he sought them all out. It was a charm offensive, putting on his newly acquired hail fellow persona as he diligently made the rounds and introduced himself, and he clearly enjoyed being this carefully recreated Bryan. He had never felt so free, so confident. He had flung off the ingredients of his past life. He definitely seemed a little more eager than some of the others to go around and introduce himself. Ben Roberts, a fellow criminal justice grad student, would recall with what seemed like admiration. And as Roberts tells it, Bryan would just chatter away nonstop. Sports music, his Royal Pennsylvania roots. Bryan out to win friends, was a master of small talk. While in the classroom, he was a star. He'd flung himself down front and center, never hiding in the back rows with the trapedius. He was the student who was always well prepared, always had his hand raised, who always had the answer on the tip of his tongue. And when the discussion began, he threw himself into gusto right into the mix. Bryan always had something to say, and when spoke, his fellow students listened with attention. An incredibly strong student, Roberts acknowledged. His area of specialization, the criminal mind. In class after class, he made it clear that he wanted to follow in the accomplished footsteps of Dr. Catherine Ramsland. Like his mentor, he would specialize in forensic psychology. It was the discipline he believed that could open formidable doors concealing dangerous secrets. Nevertheless, there was one element to the exhilarating show that Bryan was putting on in the seminar classroom that left many of the students with some disturbing misgivings. And it had little to do with what he said, nor did it really matter how he said it. Rather, it was his targets. When any of the female students spoke up, Bryan would go on the attack. He'd rip away at her arguments with a particularly dodged venomous. A barrage of pointed questions would burst forth. A caustic determination would challenge every assertion. At first, it would simply seem like rudeness, the bright kid in the class not wanting to share the spotlight with anyone else. But as the term continued and it became clear that his combative outbursts were only launched against women in the seminar, people began to wonder if Bryan's taunting was a misogynistic weapon. Well, I will say that, if, to his defense, if that picture of him at the book signing, if that's like his class, if that's like his student class, then they're all girls. You know what I mean? So anybody even, but I don't know if that was that could have just been a book signing. Where was that? The golden rule of teaching is that teachers should treat their students as they would like to be treated. But Bryan, who in return for his fellowship tuition had to put in time as the teaching assistant for Professor John Snyder's undergraduate criminal law sections, had no time for such a common sense kindness. Why such disregard? Perhaps he had dreamed about having power for so long that now, when it was an actuality, he was determined to savor it. To hear his bullied students tell it, Bryan's arrogance lay deep. His responses to questions about the text of Professor Snyder's lectures were condescending, if not outright mocking, and he enjoyed burying opposing views in a cascade of disdain. And he didn't stop there. When he corrected student papers, his comments scrawled in the margins were insulting, and the grades were scaled to reflect a perfectionist demands, a higher standard. Bryan definitely called it. It was only a matter of time before the students rose up in revolt. And they had an ally. Professor Snyder had spent 30 years as a lawyer defending criminal underdogs from charges ranging from simple possession to first-degree murder before joining the WSU faculty. He now convened a session where, under the tacit protection, the student vented their feelings about low grades they had received. Yet Bryan, still unbowed, still not recognizing the fur that was brewing, gave as good as, if not better than, he got. He was unapologetic. Professor Snyder, by many accounts, kept his thoughts to himself. But behind the scenes, the professor was making it clear that his patience was being tried. Earlier in the term, after the first reports of Bryan's high-hated antics in the classroom had reached him, Snyder tried to talk some reason into the young man. The professor had a reasonable, avuncular sort, and he was left astonished when the conversation quickly turned into an argument. And so, with a lawyer's orderliness, Snyder started to lay a paper trail that could, if necessarily, be produced as the road markings to the brewing disaster. He wrote with concern to Professor Melanie Angela Newley, the department head whose research field was violence and violent death, to inform her that they might have a loose cannon as a TA. Dutifully, she met with Bryan on October 3rd to lay down the law. So the guy had the girl go do it? That makes sense. And he has a problem with ladies. Why would you have a lady go in there? Just like, you trying to set him off? I mean, usually, you want to like keep things kosher. You're trying to get rid of the guy. But they just send in the woman, just send in the woman. Yeah, my email's here. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put the email link in there. It should pop up. And how's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Thanks for being here. For some reason, it's not one. There we go. I was having trouble connecting. Let me try it again. There we go. Maybe it'll work now. Every time I lose the spot, you have to take a drink. If you're drinking a beer, you're going to be drunk because I lost my spot again. I do it every time I look up. Okay. But Professor Snyder was not done. On October 21st, about midway through the term, he sent Bryan an exhaustive email enumerating the ways in which you have failed to meet your expectations as a TA thus far. in the semester. I have to readjust myself. Sorry, I was like in the chair kind of funky. Okay. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. And if you guys don't mind just taking a second, hit the like button. It'll help get the video out and it helps me. Helps me, helps you, helps me. The professor, okay, I heard that. No doubt Snyder assumed that she would shake Bryan up. It might even persuade him to behave more respectfully to his young students and the professor for whom he was working. After all, a lot was at stake. Bryan didn't need to read too closely between the lines to gauge the implement threat. Lose your TA job, you also lose your scholarship funding, and without the $26,000 or so needed to cover the annual cost of grad school, Bryan's matriculatum at the university would come to an abrupt end. Bryan was summoned to a powwow on November 2nd with Professor Newley and graduate director Dale Willits. They started out tough, waving the stick, "You'd better shape up or else you're out of here." After that got the TA's attention, they offered the carrot. "We can still work this out." They outlined an improvement plan and promised that if Bryan adhered to it, all would be forgiven. His academic life could continue. A chagrined Bryan grabbed the deal. A month into this truce, as the semester was winding down, a meeting was held to determine if Bryan was fulfilling his side of the bargain. On December 7th, Newley, Willits, and Snyder sat in a united force on one side of the long table at Johnson Hall. Bryan took his place opposite of them. They made Bryan sweat, but the verdict was, while not perfect, the professors agreed with a muted enthusiasm, there was progress. And with that, it seemed Bryan just had to make it through another 5 days, and then he'd be heading back with his dad to Pennsylvania. His scholarship check for the next semester would be in the mail, and he could return to his TA job in January. But Bryan apparently would not rest until he had the last word. For just 2 days later, a self-destructive Bryan, responding to an offhanded criticism from Snyder, unleashed the full force of his considerable fury. In an instant, all the progress the TA had made towards a more professional and respectful demeanor turned to sand, and Snyder was fit to be tied. He reached out once again to the department chair, and she sent an email to Bryan requesting that they meet. This was most likely a summons to the gallows, but before this execution could take place, Bryan quite effectively placed the noose around his own neck. Several of his female students reported to the department that Bryan was making them feel uncomfortable. In fact, the creepy TA had even followed one of the women to her car. Now there was nothing further to discuss. Bryan's TA job was over. "Mr. Kohberger, I am writing this letter to formally inform you of the termination of your teaching assistantship with the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology effective December 31st, 2022. Yeah, he wouldn't get that. Yet he never received the notice. By the time the letter was mailed to his apartment in Pullman, Bryan had already left campus and was driving back to Pennsylvania with his father. And then he was arrested. And so on the morning of December 15th, as the Hyundai continued on its way to the enticing Thai restaurant outside Indianapolis, Bryan was avidly explaining to his father that there was no legal way for the department would be able to strip him of his TA job. Michael had his head craned towards his son, and he was trying. He'd later volunteer to follow Bryan diatribe as best he could. There were rules for an appeals process, Bryan explained. It would be impossible for the department to dismiss him without giving him the chance to have his say. A hearing was necessary. I think him and Ann Taylor might be the best of friends. I think they might be perfect for each other. A hearing was necessary, and when he had his day, he was confident that he'd triumph. He had started making an inventory of all the ways he had been wronged, and he wanted his father to know he was determined not to walk off without putting up a fight. The students, he complained, had plotted against him because they were too lazy to get to do the required coursework. Bryan's diatribe suddenly came to an abrupt halt. It was 10:42 in the morning, and as they approached the 107-mile marker on the interstate, Bryan saw red and blue lights flashing in his rearview mirror. A sheriff's car was demanding that the Hyundai pull over. Bryan obeyed. He sat behind the wheel, waiting as the officer got out of his vehicle and slowly approached. And all at once, every fear Michael had been working to keep out of his thoughts seemed inescapable. And that's part one. That has a lot to do with Kohberger's dad, but that's why it's called Michael's story, Michael's story. But yeah, we got through a lot of pages so far. 44, it looks like 44, 45. So the next section's it's called the children's story. And I haven't started reading it yet. The last time though, when he was describing the girls, I didn't like the way he described them. So I hope that he's a little bit better with this one, with this book. But I do have another book come. Wait, hold on a second. It didn't come. Wait a minute here, just a second. Did something happen and it didn't? I bought 2 books. I bought another Idaho book. And it should have came like today, I guess. Let's see. Arriving tomorrow. And it's called While Idaho Slept. And I can read that one to you guys too if you want. I don't think it's I think it's as long as this one, maybe the same length. But that's I think that's all the Bryan Kohberger news I really have. Well, I do have some more. So Nancy Grace was supposed to be doing a collaboration with, Howard Blum, and they did part 1, and that came out last night. So part 2 should be coming out anytime. We normally will get the podcast, so we get to hear it first. So whenever it comes out, we'll listen to it first thing, and we'll listen to the podcast. There's another podcast that just came out. Let me actually check up on that one. That one's one of the ones that we were reviewing, and we were watching all of them when I was on vacation or something last year. Like, that's how long ago it's been since they've dropped a new podcast on this network, but it's a really good one. Like, the videos did really great. We really liked the videos. We really liked all of it. Oh, wait, there's 2. Wait, there's 3. Hold on a second. Hold on. What happened? Where did these all come from? Let's see. I look on here all the time, like every day, and there's like 4 new ones now. And it's, who does this? iHeartRadio? KT Studios. It's a really good one. I can actually maybe even they're doing Long Island serial killer in here too. Wow. It was I'm trying to think of how I can explain it to you. Maybe I can pull it up really quick for you guys. Maybe. It would be under content. Wait, videos. It would be under videos. It's been a long time. Actually, I can look on the app or the thing. Let's see. The last time we watched September, October 4th, October 18th was the last time we watched these, because they all thought they were going to go to court. So these are going to be good. I will be like, yeah, I'll be ready to listen to these with you guys. I'll listen to them. I'll put some pictures behind them. That way you have something to look at, and we'll listen to these while we're reading this book too. So we'll just do it all. We're just going to do it all over here. Don't forget to tell your friends, say, hey, Tanya's doing Idaho 4 content again, if that's something you're into. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. We've covered the whole case. If there is an angle to go at in this case, we probably went there. And if there's a podcast, a documentary, or any of the thing that's out there, I guarantee you I played it. I was taking them for the team. I was like, don't strike me. Like ABC, the big companies, because they was going to get you. I think it was like one of them, like 2020, or I don't know if it was 2020. One of them was cool, and like the other one wasn't. And I didn't like that. But Hey, Ozzy. Hey, Raquel. Did I say that right, Raquel? Sorry, I have like an eyelash or something. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a minute. I have like an eyelash or something going on with my eye. Who knows? Isn't that the worst whenever you can like feel something going on there? Feel something's in your eye, but you can't like see it. Can't get it. Okay, good. Baby girl, was the debate bad? Was it bad? Yeah. Yeah. I'm reading the chat. Nightbot better not be blocking you. Oh, you know what? So, okay, if you want to put your emails into like the chat, so whatever you do, don't do a dot. If you do like a period in between any words, that's not like an actual sentence, it'll think that you're putting in a link, and it'll time you out and it'll block you. Sometimes, when you're typing, you accidentally hit like, a dot like this. I heard like, hello. Or like, and like, look where the dot is, like something like that. So if you do, oopsie, I didn't mean to highlight that, but if you see like the dot there, it'll for some reason think it's a link, and it'll block you. So if you do that in any chat, it will. Neither one of them made sense. Great. That's the state of the nation, Maybe they should just have me come in. Me and my cardboard Nancy. Start arguing about golf. Oh gosh. Oh my Lord. My Lord. I just remember when Trump became president, they were putting, I don't know if you guys remember back then, but they were putting all of the candidates, like the two candidates, on the buildings, like on these, I don't know, it was like one of the skyscrapers, probably New York or something, but they were like whatever area, whatever like vote they were getting, it was putting that guy up there. And then at the end, they were going to put like the main, whoever got like, became president. And when they showed Trump, I just remember turning off the TV. I was like, I'm not watching the news for 4 years. And you bet your ass I didn't. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the news for like ever. I don't know how long exactly it was, but it was years. It was like, I didn't even want to turn it on. It's like, I'm going to be blind over here. I was like, I'm taking myself, I'm going to give myself a timeout, like I needed one because, they can't get one. Poor Joe needs, I think Joe is a little older, he maybe he'd be a good, vice, Thanks, Marianne. Yes, I'm not going to forget her. Yeah, Karen Reed. Did you guys see my video short today with that guy, y'all? Did you guys see him? Okay, I'm sure. I don't know if you guys have been. I will sometimes put on video shorts, and they'll like just be funny. Like sometimes I like to do funny content. Even though I should probably put it on my other channel. I don't. I put it on this one. But let me pull it up for you guys, because I was sitting here today, just browsing, minding my own business, and I was watching this news thing for Karen Reed, and it was like talking about the people, so, protesters outside. Y'all got to see this guy. I was just like, what? I said, tell me you need a friend without telling me you need a friend, you know. Okay, let me share this with you. I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay. Okay. Tell me you need to get out of the house and make some friends without telling me you need to get out of the house and make some friends.
People show up and it's like one big happy family, and they're at home watching everybody, and it's like by the time you get here, you know everybody. You know, it's been a wild experience.
This is a murder
minion.
trial, sir. Why are you dressed up as a freaking minion? Like, I mean, come on. Come on. Would you want these people in your corner? Karen Reed, I feel kind of bad for you right now because this is who you got supporting you. Good luck. Okay. Yeah, I was on one today. I was on one. I was laughing so hard when I saw that guy. When that guy was the glasses and the minion hat. How old are you, sir? Like, my mama would be rolling right now if I was dressed like that in front of a courthouse. Oh my gosh. That, like, no, you go to the doctor or you go to court, your butt better be clean, your hair better be clean, you better be dressed in your best clothes, you know, all that. But yeah, that was my exciting post. And what else was I going to show you? Something else? No, I wasn't going to. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 videos. They're like not very long. They're 30 minutes, so it's not too bad though. And then we will continue reading the book. And we have, let's see how many. Because I wanted to do like chapters at a time, like parts at a time. But I think that doing a part would be like, we'll probably end up splitting them up, like each chapter. So there's 6 parts. There might be like 12 parts to our little journey here, but we'll get there. We'll make it. I just don't want to read too much to you guys because I feel like, I mean, I get boring. I sound boring after a while, I feel like. Mary Beth, you have that glass of wine and you do deserve it. You go, girl. You drink it. Drink 2 of them if you want. Hell, drink the whole damn bottle. And if it's a box of wine, even better. Just take the whole thing out of there. Just drink it back. Having a drink doesn't sound too bad. I actually was going to buy some wine the other night because I've been trying to have dinner with Vincent every night. Just because we, with work, work schedules, he works 8 to 5. And then I work, I come in here and during the day, but then when he gets off work, I come in here around 6 o'clock, maybe 7 if I have everything pretty much done and I just want to like, refresh my memory and stuff. So. Oh, thanks, Cat's Life. Oh, thanks, baby girl. I appreciate that. Well, good. Thanks, Sirius. I appreciate it because, sometimes I'll be reading crazy. Maybe it's the microphone. Maybe the microphone helps. I don't know. I like this mic though. I was going to pull my chair up. Like, you can't even barely see it, but you can see my white ball on it. But I was going to bring that chair up here and then read. And it actually didn't look too bad because my desk like lowers itself. So I might do that. Or maybe I'll do it on like the other live or something on my other channel, just so it's more relaxed. But it's only 11:18. So I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to see what Vincent's doing, if he's still awake. If I'm not too tired, I may come back on and do a really short live on my second channel. If I don't do a live on the second channel tonight, I definitely am doing one tomorrow, either on my channel or I'll be over on Ert's channel. And I'll let you guys know exactly where I will be because we're just going to discuss some things. We're going to gossip. So we're going to gossip. Let's be real. We're just going to girl talk and guy talk. Really? That would be a good career to do, audiobooks. Glad you're reading because I hate reading. I used to love to read. I mean, I still do. Not as much because of the eye. It does it sucks. It sucks in that aspect. You know what I mean? Because, it's hard to read a book and you don't want to stress your one eye out. So that's probably why I can't read, a whole lot too, which I read a lot. Like we've read some documents on this channel, like a lot of documents. Think about that. I'm getting my use out of this one. My one good one. Hey, Kaylee. So I'm so glad that the family, what? Why would I be mad at you, Ladybug? What did you say? You like listening to me. I know you do. What happened? Nothing can make me mad at you, Ladybug. I don't think. Oh no. Okay, now I can read it. No, I didn't see it. No, my mouth's always wide open. If I'm looking for something, it is. If I'm like on here, I'm like, I'll be looking like that. Heather, I don't know. That's what I was wondering. I was going to ask y'all, what's going to happen? Like, if Karen Reed is not, if she's found not guilty, celebration, right? And then maybe Karen Reed sticks around, to hang out with her new people? No, she's going to be skedaddling. She ain't going to care about one of them protesters if she's not guilty. She going to walk out of that courthouse. She's going to say her grand old speech that she's been saving in her back pocket for just in case. And then she's going to get in her car and she is going to be gone and no one is going to be any the wiser. That's what I think. That's what I mean, if that happens. Now, if she's guilty, I got one word for you. Conspiracy. That's what they're going to say. And then I guess they're just going to do appeals. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to, what do you do after that? Yeah, Ladybug, I'm not mad. I didn't even see the message at first, though. No. So if I ever think I am, ask me, because I never am. Oh, we got an eye test tomorrow. I should go to the eye doctor. I told you guys last night my eye did this real funky thing. It's only done it twice, but it's like these little dots, but it's not like normal dots. Like when you hit your head, you like kind of see dots. It's like, almost looks like a fire or like a sparkler. That's what it looks like going off in front of my eye. And I don't know what that could be, but I'm gonna start putting my eye drops in because I only have the one. I'll be reading the Braille to you guys before too long. Can you imagine? You was sleeping during the day. I've been taking naps, Ladybug, during the day. So if you guys aren't subscribed over to the second channel, there is the link. It just went right in the chat. So it's in the chat. Go over there, subscribe to the channel. We are going to go over there and talk about just whatever we want to talk about. Whatever we want to talk about, when we want to talk about it. I have some stuff to say. So I may go on over there tonight. If not, I'm going to go over there tomorrow. If I'm not over there, I'll be on Bert's channel, but I'll let you know. And I will be over there sometime tomorrow because that channel needs some attention, some loving. And yeah, so come on over, hang out. If, I go live, I should, but I'm going to go check on Vincent. Cause sometimes I literally maybe right now, like here in a few minutes, I'll make a thumbnail and stuff, but sometimes I'll get off my live and I walk out there and he's like, cause he has to wake up so early but I wake up early too with him now. So it's kind of, I'm trying to get like in a different rhythm because I'm here till like late. And so whenever I get off my live, I'm tired, but as soon as I get off the live, I'm awake. And I'm like, are you kidding? So then I'll go all the way to the other place, like other part of the apartment, like I'll go all the way to the bedroom. It's not like all the way, but it's over there. And then I'll get comfortable and I'm like, oh, I should get up and go do a live. And then I just like sit there. So I don't know what he's building, but he needs to build some stuff for me. I'm just kidding. He's built me so much. I think that she did it, but she didn't mean to kill him. I think that it just was a reaction and heat of the moment kind of defense. But we do and also before we get off of here, if you do not know, we do have a summer trial date for June the 2nd for Bryan Kohberger. So we'll see if he shows up and we'll see if, if they have the trial. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button. I asked you a million times because, you know, I love you guys. And I just wanted to remind you. But I'll be back on either tonight or tomorrow. So you'll see me on the streets somewhere. Be careful out there on those YouTube streets. If you hear anything, let me know because I've heard some stuff. Did you have enough? Did I answer your question, Ladybug? I thought I did. If not, ask me again. I think she should have took the plea deal when she had the chance. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch the trial. I just know I'm one of those people that I don't even have to know you. I can look at people. I can feel them. I can feel the type of person they are. I can feel what they're feeling. If someone is feeling like really happy, I'll get butterflies in my stomach for that person. Like I'll feel their good vibes. If someone is super negative and just down and out and then I'm the same. I'm just like, it's like you suck the whole life and the whole world out of me. It's, you know what I mean? But with her, I'm just getting this her ugly's going to come out. I don't know. Be kind and don't kill people, folks. Right? And if one more person says we can all be Karen Reed, no, we cannot. I don't drink and I don't drink and drive. That's all. Hey, good night, Gwen. And I love your picture. That's such a good picture. Be kind, don't kill people, folks. I wonder what the thing's going to say tonight. The chat replay thing. That'd be funny. But thank you guys all for being here. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Mary Beth, for all of the memberships. You gifted out like so many memberships. And you gave me a $5 super sticker. And I got the case file for Preston Lord. I went to pay it the other day and I thought I paid it like 4 different times. It said payment success. And I was like, oh, cool. My card just must have been on file, on my computer. And then I come back over here and it was like, no. And then what? So then I just, I had to get my card. But we got it. It should be here any day. Oh yeah, the sweater. Okay, I did see that. I was like, wait, which one? Were you talking about a sweater or like a shawl? Because I have both. You just go into poppyandari.com. I have it in like the summer kind of ones that are like a thinner material, but they're a nice material. I have it in teal and cream. See if I need to get better pictures on my website because I have a bunch of cute ones on like mannequins and stuff. I need an assistant. I really don't need an assistant. Okay, let me show you let me know if these are the ones. Is it this one? These two here? These were the ones that were on that back wall. And then this one is more of like a sweater material. It's a little thicker, but it's really nice. They're all really nice. And they're one size, which you can't beat that. Even better. It's a one size and anybody can wear it from a small to I would say an extra large, maybe 1X. It's pretty flowy and I love them. And I don't know where mine are. Mine are packed away somewhere. It was on the mannequin. I don't know if I can go back to that picture. Was that on my other page? I'm trying to think of what picture it was. But it should be on there. All of the sweaters, they should be. Unless, was it a pink sweater? What color was it? I have to just go through the jewelry and stuff because I got more clothes on the other side. If you go to this side, I have this pink sweater. I love that pink sweater. I love that one too. Actually, I love them all. That's why I picked them all out. And then this little cute sweater. That was on that back wall, I think, too. The brown and sheer. Oh, that one is Ladybug. I love that little 2-piece outfit. Yes, that is So it's pants and it comes with a sheer top. It's really cute. Mary Beth has pretty much everything in the boutique. She's got a lot. I've tried it all on. I've taking pictures and stuff. I need to put more pictures out on. I thought about putting more pictures on my YouTube channel, like maybe my other channel, because I have videos and I have like reels and transitions. And I'm actually on TikTok under Poppy and Ari. If you want to watch like some transition videos, this whole room used to be set up as a store. So like I had like face outs. I mean, it was woodsy. It was like industrial looking. It looked cute. It looked cute. That picture was taken when I didn't have floors in here though, before I got my hardwood floors, because we were in the process of doing those. So, but yeah, I have a bunch of cute stuff on there, and I need to get some more really bad. Vincent's supposed to be helping me out with that, and he has to get work shirts anyway. So we're just going to do a bulk order. But you can contact me on there if you need to. And then this little dress, Mary Beth has that one too. I love that little green dress. This right here, I don't know how many I have left. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're a cold person in the wintertime, if you are cold all the time, let me do you a favor. It's worth the money. Get the outfit, get the 2-piece outfit. This thing I've never been so warm wearing anything in my whole life. I don't need a coat. It could be the dead of winter. If I have on like an under like tank top and an under like some underpants, I'm good to go. I know I want Titan merch too. We need to get Vincent on that. How much? Okay, so those ones are $42, and then you can take 20% off. But the 2-piece set is $60, I believe, on that one. And yeah, and you can email me on here if you want, or you can email me and I can help you with the whole order and stuff if you need me to. I was gonna see if I can go back and find them. These little pants are cute too. And I have that. That's really cute. This is really cute. Although it's all cute. It's all cute. Oh, I love this little pink dress too. There it is. It's this one right here. I wonder if I probably just don't even have like, yeah. Look at me with my picture game. My picture game's horrible. Yeah, my picture game is not very good. I mean, it is because I have all these really great pictures. I just didn't put them on the website. So, yeah, I think guilty of manslaughter. But I thought that she had like already took that, like that was already a deal, and she said no. So I don't know why it's still on there. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, and let me know. It's right, and it's regular, like regular sizing. Nothing runs funky. I'm trying to think. Nothing's like too big, too small. I wear I'm 5'8". I'm getting personal with you. I'm 5'8". I'm 140, and I wear a medium large. I used to wear an extra small. So I've got clothes in all sizes. And I do have curvy clothes too. So if you're a curvier woman and you need that 1X to that 3X, I got you covered. And we're going to try to get some higher sizes too. So, but thanks for being over here with me tonight, guys. I appreciate it. I really do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, all the fun things. And I may go live over there later here in a few minutes. You never know. But I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk around and see how I feel. But I'll see you guys all soon. Bye, guys.